Look, I hear it all the time. What's it going to take? I'm doing all the right things. I took a bunch of workshops. I read a bunch of books. Look, I'm charging the right stuff. I'm doing the right things. I keep my prices where they should be because it's really important. But I'm just, things aren't working out yet. I got a few gigs, but it's not happening yet. I'm doing all these new things and I'm changing who I am in the industry, but things aren't really happening for me yet. I hear it all the time. I understand it because I've been there. Starting a business like ours is not the same as having a store that you can put a sign up in and say open. We're selling cakes now. Hi, I'm Bill Herman with Creative License, and today I'm talking about perseverance. Perseverance is probably the number one thing that we're going to have to stick with. And the number one thing that we have to stick with, listen to me, the number one thing that is going to be that thing that keeps us driving. Look, we're in an artistic thing. We do a job that creates excitement, but it's kind of recreated and reinvented in the minds and eyes of our clients and those people that might hire us on a regular basis. Especially if you do weddings, you have to reinvent yourself all the time. Even if they've seen you before. Who is this guy? What is this guy? What's so great about it? You gotta have to start over and over again. You try to become that guy who's recommended in all the facilities, which I think is kind of a waste of time, if you ask me, mostly because there's no good manager that stays the manager at one of these places for very long. Talk about turnover. They turn over and turn over and turn over and turn over and turn over all the time. So now you have to reinvent that relationship on a regular basis. Really, what I want to be is the person who perseveres. Okay? I heard a great thing once when I took some comedy training from Kyle Cease, which is a great comic, and he's got some great information. I'll put his link down in the bottom of the YouTube stuff. And Louis Anderson, they did a comedy workshop, and it was great. And I recommend taking all kinds of workshops all the time, all kinds of performance stuff. This is the one that I did at the time. Did it with a few friends. And one of the things that they said near the end was, you want to be a stand-up comedian? Great. You got to find a point of view. You got to have your act. You got to know what you do. But then you got to persevere. In other words, the way they said it was, you got to get in line. And once you're in line, you got to stay in line, because everybody gets a chance. Everybody gets to the front of the line and gets the chance. We get to the front of the line on a regular basis when we're standing in front of a client, when we're auditioning for what we're doing, when we're talking to them about what is important to them and what we can do for them and how we can serve them. That happens. That's where that reinvention happens all the time. When it comes to becoming really famous about it and being the person that everybody talks about, you got to stay in line. You got to continue the path. You have to create a plan, and you got to move forward, and you got to stay with the plan. Okay? Now, there are things that you're doing right now that if you change them a little bit would make the plan fatter and bigger and better. And you can do that. But for you to say after working for a year, well, screw it, I'm done. There's no way I can do this. There's no magic bullet to make me better. Because there isn't. There's no such thing as a magic bullet. There's no such thing as just one thing. If you're a single operator and an artist in a world of artistic stuff, you want to have a big business that starts immediately, then do what other businesses do. Okay? A restaurant. I worked in the restaurant business for a long time, and I opened more than a few of them. And what did they do? They went to the bank, and they got enough money from the bank to be able to open the restaurant, build the restaurant, put all the employees in, and get all the food together and open, and stay open, not making a dime for at least a year. So they had the cash flow necessary to make a bunch of mistakes and to promote and advertise. We are all kind of doing it, one gig at a time. Well, we got a gig and we got a little bit of money, so let's put it into advertising. So it kind of works, but advertising is a thing of persistence, and marketing is a thing of persistence, and the website and the SEO is a thing of persistence, and your performance and how good you are is a thing about persistence. So be persistent. Continue down the path, because if you're not persistent, you probably shouldn't be doing this. You should probably be doing something else, because you can have success working for somebody else. Or you can create something and stay to it and stay in line, because once you get to the front of the line, you got to be ready. And to do that, you need persistence about getting better and being this person that's going to be there when they show up and they'll be a part of it. Frank Sinatra, I've got it written on my wall, says, luck is only important insofar as getting the chance to sell yourself at the right moment. After that, you got to have the talent and know how to use it. In other words, when he got to the front of the line, he had his talent and he knew how to use it. Are you ready? And will you be ready? And how long of a line are you willing to wait in? Because everybody gets their chance as long as they stay in line. If you have comments about this, if you disagree, if you want to tell me some of your stories about this, please tell me in the comments below. If you want to know more about the workshop, it's entertainment-experience.com. Otherwise, I suppose I'll just persistently keep this podcast going until you tell enough people that we have enough listeners and watchers. I'm Bill Herman, and this is Creative License.